Well, hello everybody. YouTube gave me a little bit of trouble this morning. Got a false start on the first one, 5-yard penalty for a false start. As YouTube told me I wasn't ready to go live, even though I was ready to go live, it didn't let me do it. So hopefully we're on the air, as they say. I think we are, but looks like we are. So anyway, aside from all of that nonsense, we are at the second game of the June the 8th schedule. We're game number 381 overall. We're at Yankee Stadium for the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees, two of the top three teams in the American League East. And it will be Dave Stieb for the Blue Jays against Rick Rhoden for the Yankees. Yankee Stadium, singles are 1-7 left and right. Home runs are 1-9 left and 1-8 right. Good pitching matchup. Stieb is coming to this game 6-3 on the replay, and Rhoden is 5-2 on his replay. So we'll look at what they've got here. Rick Rhoden on the real season was 16-10. So let me get the Strat computer up on screen so I can see what's going on here. Rick Rhoden on the real season was 16-10 with a 3.86 ERA. On the replay, he's 5-2 with a 4.19 ERA, so not too far off from 3.86 to 4.19, not that far off, I guess. Let's see, 69 innings pitched, 83 hits. He's given up a lot of hits for innings pitched. In real season, it was about a 1-to-1 ratio, but he's given up 14 more hits than he has innings pitched. He's walked 14, struck out 42, basically a 3-to-1 ratio there. And so he's got a better walk to strikeout ratio in the replay than he does in real world, but he's given up more hits. But what are you going to do? A long way to go. We're only in June, so he's got a lot of starts to make. So you never know how those averages are going to average out in the end. Both pitchers are -2 holds when they combine them with their catchers. Stieb is a -2 and Witt's a 0. Rhoden's a -1, but Cerrone's a -1 for a total of -2. Mark Salas was acquired recently from the Twins. He is going to start this game as a DH for the Yankees. He's also a backup catcher. And again, you don't have Ricky Henderson. You don't have Don Mattingly. They're both injured. Wild pitch for Rhoden's a 10. His balk's a 2. For Stieb, wild pitch is a 4, balk a 0. So I think that kind of covers most everything that I wanted to cover before I started. And now we'll get this thing rolling. Tony Fernandez will lead off for the Blue Jays. And in the replay, in the replay, let me get it straight. In the replay, 356, a homer and 16 driven in. He hit 322 real world. Got our dice right here, back to this traditional dice. And before we have the first pitch, we have to have the ceremonial first sip. That has become a tradition. In fact, when it's cold morning, I might double up and have a second ceremonial first sip. I did put it in the microwave for 30 seconds before I came up here, so hopefully it's a little bit warmer and it'll keep its warmness a little bit longer. Hopefully. And now we're ready to go. Tony Fernandez, switch hitter, batting left-handed against Rick Rhoden. We're underway from Yankee Stadium. 5-6, and that's a fly ball to center field where Claudell Washington will haul it in. And there's one away for Lloyd Mosby, center fielder. Mosby on the replay hitting 332, 16 homers, 54 driven in. And on the real season, Mosby hit 282. So 5-3. It's a ballpark single check. It's a 1-7. That's a 6. So base hit for Lloyd Mosby. And he may be looking to run. He needs a 2 through 5 to get the lead. Does not get the lead, so he will hold. And here is Jesse Barfield. Barfield leads the league in home runs in the replay. 19 homers, 51 driven in, hitting 307. He hit 28 homers on the season, real season, with a 263 average. 6-5, and that's a fly to center. Once again, taken in by Claudell Washington. 2 down now for George Bell. Bell on the replay hitting 301, 17 homers, 50 driven in. He hit 308 real world. 47 homers, 134 driven in. Rhoden to Bell. 6-4, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-7, but that's a 15, so we'll keep the original fly out to right, and that will end the inning. So nothing doing for the Blue Jays in the first. We go to the bottom of the first, Toronto nothing, and the Yankees will be coming to bat, and Dave Stieb, longtime Blue Jay pitcher on the mound on the real season, 13-9 with a 4.09 ERA, on 8 ERA. 80 innings pitched, 69 hits, 40 walks, and 51 strikeouts. So the walks are a little bit high. That's probably what's gotten him into the most trouble, are the base on balls. Hello, Joel. Hello, Aaron. And hello, Dr. D. Good to see all of you on this Tuesday morning. Hope your Tuesday morning is going well. All right, here's Willie Randolph to lead off for the Yankees. He is hitting 268 on the replay, 2 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 305 real world. 5-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. Fly ball center field X. We're looking at Mosby. He's a get to it. We're just checking the E7. And for a center fielder, E7, the only errors are 3-4, 15, 17, and 18. 3-4, 15, 17, or 18. And that's a 4. That will be an error. Look at that. He's an E7, is Mosby, and a 4 right here for a one-base error. Wow. Don't see that happen very often, but it happened. There you go. One-base error, E8 on Mosby. Not sure if he just took his eye off the ball or what, but Steve's not too happy about it. Randolph needs a 3 to get the good lead. Does not get it. He'll hold for Claudell Washington. Washington on the replay hitting 337, 2 homers, 15 driven in. He had 279 real world. 212, and that's going to be a fly to center. 1 away. Here's Dave Winfield. 273 average on the replay, 12 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 275 real world. 3-4, and that's going to be a line out right to Garth Orge at second, 2 down. 2 away for Gary Ward, the left fielder. Hello, Jeremiah. 5-8 against Stieb. It's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Yankees here in the first. Stieb pitches around the error by Mosby. At the end of one complete, it's no score from Yankee Stadium. And yes, Jeremiah, coffee is here, and it is hot. And it is good coffee. All right, here is Rance Mullenix. Mullenix, the third baseman in this game. He's hitting 339 on the replay, 5 homers, 21 driven in. He had 310 real world. 5-8, and that's going to be a 1-2 double. 3-20 will be a single, so it's a leadoff single for Rance Mullenix. So Mullenix is aboard. He is no threat to run. That'll bring up Willie Upshaw, first baseman. Upshaw, one of the few Blue Jays who is actually struggling. He's hitting an even 200 and 190 at bats. 1 homer, 15 driven in. He hit 244 real world with 15 home runs. So he's way off the pace on his home run jaunt. He's going to have to do a giddy up to get to his 15 home runs. That's for sure. 2-9, and that is a ground ball first base B. So it's fielder's choice. Pasqua will go to second to Tollison for the force, but that's all they'll get. Too slowly hit to be a double play. But they get the lead runner. 1 away for Ernie Witt, the catcher. Ernie Witt hitting 289 on the replay, 7 homers, 23 driven in. He had 269 real world. And Upshaw, I don't think he could try to get the lead, but the odds would not be in his favor, so they will hold him on, but he won't try for any lead. 4-9, left-handed. 1-12 is a single. That's a 13, though, so he's going to line it to Willie Randolph at second. And there are 2 away, just that quickly. So 2 down for the crime dog, Fred McGriff. He is the designated hitter in this game. McGriff hitting .250. 10 homers, 18 driven in. He had .247 real world. And that's going to be a 3-10 for McGriff, and that's a ballpark blast here at Yankee Stadium. 1-9. That's a 6. It's gone. The crime dog just hit a 2-run home run. Look at it again. 3-10 is a ballpark blast on the diamond shot. Yankee Stadium is 1-9, and that's a 6, and obviously has normal power. So Fred McGriff goes deep to give the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead on the Yankees. And for McGriff, that is home run number 11 on the season. RBIs 19 and 20. He had 20 homers and 43 RBI real world. So Fred McGriff puts the Blue Jays in front 2-0. And here is Garth Orge. Orge on the replay is hitting .167, no homers, 10 driven in. He had .210 real world. 2-11, and that's a ground ball to Tollison at short to end the inning. But Toronto strikes first. The 2-run homer by the crime dog. And we go to the bottom of the second. Toronto 2, Yankees nothing. Stieb will be facing Pagliarulo, Pasqua, and Salas for the Yankees. 3 left-handed hitters. Stacking the lineup with lefties is Lou Piniella. Pagliarulo on the replay is hitting .237. 15 homers, 34 driven in. He had .234 real world. 3-11, and that's going to be a ground ball right back to Stieb. He just missed a ballpark blast, but it's ground ball right back to Stieb. Easy play, 1 down. And that'll bring up Dan Pasqua, who's trying to fill the shoes of Don Mattingly, but it's not going well. Pasqua on the replay, hitting .240, 10 homers, 21 driven in. He had .233 real world. 6-6, ground ball shortstop X. That's Fernandez. He's a 1, so we know he's going to get to it. We're just concerned with the E17. And as we look at the error 17 for shortstops, 15, 16, and 17, that's all he has to avoid. He has to avoid those big numbers, 15, 16, and 17. He did not. That's a 15. That'll be an error on Tony Fernandez. Second Toronto error by 2 usually reliable fielders. And Dave Stieb's got to be wondering what the heck is going on. Pasqua's aboard. He's no threat to run, but he shouldn't be there. That was just a bumbling play there by Fernandez. Just took his eye off the ball. Didn't concentrate, I suppose. All right, here's Mark Salas. He spent the beginning part of the season with Minnesota. So with those Minnesota stats, he was hitting .178, 2 homers, 8 driven in. He hit .250 real world. That's a 3-7, and that's going to be a 1-5 single. That's a 14, so he lines it to second, and that's out number 2. 2 down, and that'll bring up Rick Cerrone. Catcher Rick Cerrone is hitting .270 on the replay, 2 homers, 11 driven in. He had .243 in the actual season. 6-3, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Barfield. He's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. We're just looking at the E3, and for an outfielder, you would think E3 wouldn't be that big of a deal. 3, 18, and 15, but the way these dice have been rolling already, you can't trust anything. 3, 18, and 15. Got to avoid those. And we get a 15. Do you believe that? That's the 3rd error on the Blue Jays from 3 reliable fielders, and the numbers just happen to hit where their errors are. It's a 2-base error on Barfield. It will send Pasqua to 3rd. That is, and Stieb is beside himself. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He should have been out of the inning. He's got to get 5 outs this inning, basically. Now here's Tollison in the clutch situation. In the clutch, he loses 3 hits, 2-5, 2-9, and 2-10. So there's 3 areas there in column 2 that he will lose a hit on. Tolleson hitting 211 on the replay, 2 homers, 15 driven in. He hit 221 real world. Stieb says, I might do it myself and just strike him out. 4-8, switch hitter batting left. And he did just that. 4-8, he struck him out. He said, screw that. I'll take care of it myself. And he pitches around the 2 errors. Really a kind of a weird inning there. But he pitched around it with the strikeout, took care of business on his own. Got the job done. So we go to the top of the third. Still 2-0 Blue Jays. For the top of the order, Fernandez. And it's more coffee time. Fernandez flew to center his first chance. 5-10, switch hitter batting left. That's an in-home run chance, 1-15. That's an 18. It'll be a triple for Fernandez. He had weak power anyway. Triple for Fernandez. He had 8 triples in the real season. This is triple number 2 for him on the replay. So he's definitely behind on his triples. And he got one right there. Look at it again, 5-10. Switch hitter batting left is a 1-15 homer. 16-20 is a triple, and that's an 18. So it's a leadoff triple for Tony Fernandez. And the Blue Jays looking for more. Here's Lloyd Mosby. The Yankee infield's going to come in. Might be dangerous to play in with nobody out, but they're going to do it against Lloyd Mosby. 1-6 for Mosby. Struck him out. That's certainly one way to get around it. Rick Rhoden. First strikeout. Infield continues to be in against Jesse Barfield. Rhoden could certainly use another strikeout or pop-up or something like that. 6-5. He gets a fly ball center field B. That's a sacrifice fly. So Barfield a sacrifice fly out to Claudell Washington, but Fernandez scores easily, and it's 3-0 Blue Jays. 2 down, bases empty, though, so Rhoden should get out of it with just the 1 run. Here's Bell. That is a 5-7. Ground ball shortstop X, we are looking at Tolleson. He is a 3-E-22. 3 and a 7. 3 and a 7 is going to be good. That's a 4. E22 and a 4. E22, there is no 4. There's a 6 there, but no 4. So good play for Tolleson to end the inning. Jeremiah, the triple rule that the Strat computer uses, and I've adopted as well, is if the batter gets a triple off the pitcher card, but he had like no triples, or maybe he only had 1 triple and he's already had 3 in the replay, then I cut it off like a slow running catcher. If a slow running catcher would happen to get the triple off of like what Fernandez did, that 16-20 there for a triple. Had that been Ernie Witt or somebody like that never gets any triples, I would have changed that to a double. That's what the Strat computer does. But Fernandez had 8 triples on the season, and he only had 1 up to that point. So it was very easy just to keep that result with no problems. But that's what the computer does in the super advanced with max rules. It takes away the triples that for guys that wouldn't normally get triples. That's only if the result's off the pitcher card. If it's off the batter card, it's fair game. All right, here's Dave Stieb. Back out. We'll face Randolph. 3-5, and that's a base on balls. First walk issued by Stieb. Randolph is aboard. He's looking to get a lead, but he needs a 3 to do it. And he can't do it. So I'll bring up Claudell Washington. .511, lefty. Fly ball left field X. We're looking at Bell. He's a 2E13. 2-20, he'll get to that, but the E13 might be a little iffy there with the 13 on his own. 13 and a 13. He's an E13, and we roll a 13. 13, unfortunately for Toronto, he misses it. 12 and 15 would have been an error, but not a 13, and Dave Stieb kind of had to hold his breath on that one. Wondering what can go wrong next. Blue Jays have committed 3 errors in the first 2 innings, and Stieb has managed to pitch around it. Here is Winfield. 6-5, and that's a ground ball second base C. That'll get the runner to second, but now there are 2 away. And it's going to be up to Gary Ward to try to bring a run home. It's a clutch situation for Ward. He loses a hit on 210. Everywhere else he is rated as average. 6-6, and that's a strikeout for Stieb. Takes care of business again. Not leaving it to chance with the fielders. He just strikes out Ward to end the inning. So we go to the 4th. It's still 3-0 Toronto. Rick Rhoden back out. Will face Mullenix, Upshaw, and Witt. 4 left-handed hitters coming up in a row for the Blue Jays. 2-7, and that's a single for Rance Mullenix. He's 2 for 2. He's, of course, no threat to run. Here's Willie Upshaw. Rick Rhoden could use one of those Giovanni Taylor Shop's tailor-made double plays right about now. 4-4. It's a catcher X. That's going to be Cerrone. He's a 3-0. 3 and a 1, though. That's going to probably be a base hit on a dribbler. Get that 1 there. It definitely is. W/S, although it might be a wild pitch. The W/S, I think, actually turns into a wild pitch. Let's see here. Yep, with runners on, batter uncorks a wild pitch. Play resumes, the same batter at the plate. So the hit, he loses the hit. He doesn't get the hit. It's going to be a wild pitch instead on Rhoden. And that'll move the runner to second base. Maybe that's a benefit. That might actually help Rhoden out because now he can try to get Upshaw out and, not let him get that base hit. With a base hit, you'd have first and second, nobody out. At least now you got a chance to get an out again. 5-8, or you got a chance to do more damage, which he just did. 5-8 to 1-2 double, 3-20 single, 2 stars. That will score the run. It is now 4-0 Toronto. RBI single from Willie Upshaw on the 5-8, 3-20. So Willie Upshaw, an RBI single. So that time the wild pitch did cost him a run, or potentially he may have scored anyway later on, as there's no one out. Here's Ernie Witt. Upshaw will be held, but won't try to go anywhere. Ernie Witt line to second his first time up. 5-7. That's a ground ball shortstop X. Tollison is part of the hold on Upshaw. With a left-handed hitter, the shortstop is responsible for holding second. So he will increase his number to a 4. It's going to be a 4E22. 4-5. That's not good news if you were the Yankees. 4-5 is going to be a base hit. Single 1 star. And that is a 16. And he is an E22. There's a 15, 17, and 18, but no 16. So at least he avoided the error. But the base hit's going to be good. First and second, nobody out. Now the wild pitch was irrelevant. They would have scored anyway. But boy, Rick Rhoden's not on his game right now. Yankees may be going to the bullpen earlier than they expected. Here's McGriff. He hit the big 2-run homer. First time up. Got the Blue Jays started. 5-11, and that's a ballpark single check. That's a 7, and that is a 7, right on the number. So that's going to load the bases. Ballpark single for McGriff. Bases are loaded, nobody out. Boy, now the pitching coach is going to go out and talk to Rhoden because he's having some issues. Garth Orge is your batter. Bases loaded, nobody out. They're down 4-0 already. So they're going to play the infield in. Without Mattingly and without them, they know their offense is going to be struggling to score runs. So you really can't give up any more runs if you can afford it. So normally if they had their regular offense, I'd play back for a double play. But since they're shorthanded, we got to try to choke that run off. So I know it's a gamble, but I think it's a worthwhile gamble. 4-6, and that's a strikeout. That certainly helps for Rhoden. Now a double play would get you out of the inning. But Fernandez is tough to double up. Don't think he has too many A's on his card. He's got a few, not many. But we'll see how they want to play this. They may go ahead with 1 out and play for the double play. I think they will. They're actually going to play for the double play and try to get out of the inning on 1 at bat. Bases loaded and out. That's a 2. Chance for balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk chance on Rhoden. He has a 2 for a balk rating. That's a 3. He barely avoids the balk. So there is no balk. Back for the double play. 5-7. Switcher to bang left. That's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Tollison. 3E22. Can they turn the double play? 3 and a 12. Probably not. It's probably a G2. 3 and a 12 is a G2. That is a 12 there. And he's an E22. No error there, but it's only going to be a fielder's choice, 6-4. They couldn't turn the double play the way they wanted to. Fernandez beat it out. So it'll be an RBI ground out as Upshaw will score to make it 5-0 Blue Jays. Witt goes to third. McGriff is out at second on the 6-4 fielder's choice. So they gambled and it didn't pay off. 2 outs now. Fernandez might think about getting the lead. He needs a 6 or a 7. He gets the lead. He's going to go 18, being held to 16. -2 is a 14. So 1-14, he will steal it. And he does, right on the number, barely. But Fernandez is safe on the stolen base. That puts runners at second and third with 2 outs for Lloyd Mosby. Clutch situation for Mosby. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 3-9. Everywhere else, he is neutral. That's a 1-5, and that's a split chance. 1-2 is a single, but that's a 13, so he's going to line it to second to end the inning. But 2 more runs come in for the Blue Jays, and they lead at 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. You don't know how much longer Rick Rhoden's going to last. I was hoping this would be a closer game than yesterday's game, but I tell you what, the Blue Jays have other ideas. Here's Pagliarulo, and the Yankees are definitely feeling it, not having Henderson or Mattingly in the lineup. 3-7, and that's a strikeout for Pags, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Stieb. But Stieb is loving it. He's kind of gone into cruise control. Here's Dan Pasqua. 4-7, and that's a base on balls. And I believe that's the first walk issued by Stieb. Appears to be. So Pasqua is on, will not be held. And here's Mark Salas, the designated. Oh, what am I doing? I'm writing the stuff up there. Let me fix that. Strikeout down here. And a walk down here. Good thing I've got the correction tape. What I was thinking there. I guess I'm so used to writing up here because that's where all the action's been. Now we got it straight. So Salas is up. Runner at first. Hello, Jimmy Jam. Salas. 2-3, and that's a ground ball pitcher A. It's going to be a 1-6-3 double play. It's not a Giovanni's tailor-made double play, but it's a double play nonetheless. And Stieb quickly gets out of the 4th inning and brings his team right back to bat. Not going to give Rhoden a chance to catch his breath at all. And Rhoden's going to have to deal with Barfield, Bell, and Mullenix. Barfield 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly. 1-6, he's going to strike him out this time. So I could have kept that strikeout from before, I guess, that was up there. It's kind of fortuitous. Now, if the next batter walks, it's going to be freaky because that's what was there when I did the correction tape. So if Bell walks, I'm just really going to be freaked out. Here's Bell. 1-8, he does not walk. He grounds to short. 2 down. 2 down, and that's going to bring up Mullenix, who's 2 for 2. 2-7, and that's a single. Mullenix 3 for 3. And here's Willie Upshaw. All right, Jimmy. Why don't we do that right at the end of this inning or in this half inning? All right, 1 is a wild pitch chance for Rhoden, which is a 10. And that's 15, so no wild pitch. Here's Upshaw. 4-4, that's a catcher X. We're looking at Cerrone, 3E0. 3 and a 14. You know he can't make an error, so we're not worried about that. The 3 and the 14 for the catcher is going to be a pop out, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Blue Jays here in the 5th. They still lead at 5-0 going to the bottom of the 5th. And now Jimmy says he has a trivia question for us. So I want to take a look and see what that is, see if we can figure it out or whether we need help. Who was the only player in the 500 club to not have back-to-back 30 home run seasons? Wow, that's interesting. You would think if you had 500 home runs, you would have 30 home run seasons, but, you know, multiple times. I guess not necessarily back-to-back, but interesting. Jeremiah is guessing McCovey. I don't even know all the guys in the 500 home run club, so it is not McCovey. All right, we're going to the bottom of the 5th. So Stieb is going to do his warm-up tosses, and he'll be facing Cerrone, Tollison, and Randolph as people still try to guess who the 500 home run club member is that doesn't have the 30 back-to-back home runs. Like I said, you would think if you had 500 home runs, you would have back-to-back 30 home run seasons, but that one's a toughie. Here's Steve, 5-8, and that's a fly to left, 1 away. So if anybody wants to still guess, keep going. Make your guesses. Maybe to get us, I need a hint. Here's Tollison, like what era it was or what team it was or whatever. 6-5, switch hitter, batting left is a ground ball to second, 2 down. Oops. 2 down. And that'll bring up Willie Randolph. Randolph played for one of the teams playing now. Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe it's Fred McGriff. I thought he had back-to-back 30 home run seasons, though. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. It's just a shot in the dark. I have no idea. Could be a Yankee from way back when. McGriff might not have even hit 500 home runs for all I know. All right, so let's get these in the computer here. A fly out by Cerrone and a ground out by Tollison. So 2 away for Willie Randolph. Randolph has reached on the error and walked. 5-7. 1-11 single. That's a 19, so he's going to line it to short. So I'm assuming it's a Yankee then. I don't know of any other Toronto people that hit 5. I don't think Toronto had anybody hit 500 home runs unless it was McGriff. I don't think anybody else ever did. Could be wrong, but might be a Yankee. I think you got us fooled there, Jimmy. I'm not sure if you're going to give another hint about what era it was. Maybe that would help us. I don't know. Here is, let's see. Oh, it's Reggie Jackson. He never had 30 homers back to back. Okay. You would have thought he would have. You would have thought he would have had 30 homers back to back. That was a very good I mean, that was a stumper because I certainly didn't know who it was. 1-6, and that's going to be a walk. Ernie Witt. Of course, he will not go anywhere. Hot Dog Jackson. Absolutely. Let's see here. McGriff, he's homered and singled. 4-7, and this is a ground ball second base X. Randolph's a 2E17. Maybe they can get that Giovanni's Taylor shot, the tailor-made double play. but a 2 comes up. The double die says, no, thank you. We're not going to have that. That's going to be a base hit most likely, and it is. 2 and a 2 is a single. That's a 9. I don't think he's going to make an error on a 9, but you never know. E17, nope, no 9, but it is going to be a single 1-star. Puts runners at first and second. So the double die strikes again. First and second, nobody out for Garth Orge, and Rick Rhoden just pitching in some bad luck. Just pitching in some bad luck. Here's Orge. 2-8 for Orge. Ground ball, shortstop A. There's the Giovanni's Taylor Shop double play they've been waiting for right there. 2-8, ground ball, shortstop A. 6-4-3, double play. Double play sponsored by Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're out that way, visit Giovanni's Tailor Shop and tell them you heard about it here with the tailor-made double play sponsorship. So that out's going to go 6-4-3. That's about as tailor-made as you can get. 2 quick outs. Witt does take third base. But now here's Fernandez in the clutch. And in the clutch for Fernandez, he is rated completely neutral. He has no changes to his card. 100% neutral for Fernandez in the clutch. 2-5, and that's a ground ball to third. And Pagliarulo takes care of it, and Rhoden pitches around the mess. This was his fatigue inning, but he only gave up 2 base runners, so he's still good for the 7th. Stieb is out. This will be his fatigue inning as well. Keep an eye on his fatigue potentially. And Claudell Washington 0 for 2. 5-6, and that's a strikeout for Stieb. Strikeout number 4. The Yankee offense has just kind of gone anemic without Ricky Henderson and Don Mattingly. They just are not the same team, obviously. Here's Winfield. 2-9, and that's a single for Winfield, so he gets a base hit. He's not going to go anywhere, especially down 5-0. He's aboard, and for Gary Ward, left fielder, Ward is 0 for 2, including a strikeout. 4-11, and that's a ground ball. Pitcher X. Stieb is an E16. They don't list the range on the card, but the computer says he's a 2. So it's a 2 E16 for Dave Stieb. 2 E16. That's a 2 and a 9. We'll see if he can make a double play out of that. 2 and a 9. Nope, his only play is to first base on a G3. That is a 9, and he is an E16. E16, and he makes an error. How about that? All these errors by the Blue Jay fielders that Steve was complaining about, and now he makes his own error. E16, and there's a 9 sitting right there. So Steve boots it as well. That's the 4th error on the Blue Jays in this game in 6 innings. Yet they're winning 5-0. Very weird game. First and second, 1 out for Mike Pagliarulo. Tell you what, 1 long ball, and the Yankees are back in this game. And Pagliarulo definitely has the power. So does Pasqua. 6-3, fly ball right field X. We're looking at Barfield. He's a 1E3. 1 and a 4. I don't think the runners can move up, though. I think it's still a F2 or something. Yep, 1 and a 4 is an F2, so they can't move up. Run on second could move up and go to third, but are you really going to challenge Barfield's -5 arm? I don't think so. Barfield's an E3, and that is a 14. E3, there's a 15 there, but no 14. Boy, almost another error there. But Barfield does make the play, and the Winfield thinks better of it with that -5 arm sitting out there. So that'll bring up Pasqua in a clutch situation. Pasqua in the clutch loses a hit on 110, 3-9. So we've got a couple places there where he is inferior in the clutch. 4-9 for Steve is going to be a walk. It's going to load the bases for Mark Salas. I'll tell you what, if Salas wants to endear himself to his new teammates, now's the time to do it. Bases loaded, 2 outs, clutch situation. One long ball, grand salami, and they're right back in the game, and he's got power. In the clutch, though, he is going to lose a hit on 1-5, and that's it, just 1-5. That's a 2, chance for balk or pass ball. We're looking at the pass ball rating of Witt, which is a 3. No pass ball. So here's the pitch to Salas. 2-11 for Salas. And a 2-10 would have been a home run. 2-10 would have been a grand slam home run. That's the kind of day it's been for the Yankees. A 2-10 and an 11 there would have been a grand slam home run for Mark Salas. But a 2-11 is simply going to pop it up to Rance Mulliniks, and the Yankees leave the bases loaded. That, in a nutshell, is what is going on with the Yankees in this game. So we go to the top of the 7th, still 5-0, as the Yankees still have trouble scoring runs. Rhoden is still in there, facing Mosby. 1-8 for Mosby. That's a 1-15 home run, and that is gone. Lloyd Mosby goes deep. Here you go, 1-15 for a home run. That's a 12. That's gone. For Lloyd Mosby, home run number 17. He's had the power stroke going in this replay. He only hit 26 real world on the whole season. He's already got 17 already. He's got 17 homers in just 212 at-bats. He had almost 600 at-bats with 26 home runs. And the RBI total is now 55. Home run 17, RBI 55, and it is 6-0 Blue Jays. No sense. The Yankees figure there's no sense bringing in a relief pitcher right now because it's not going to matter. They're not scoring any runs. So they're just going to let Rhoden go as long as he can go. Here's Barfield, 4-9. That's a 1-13 single. That's a 10 base hit. Let's see if that makes him fatigued. Whoops. Get over there. Here we go. He is now fatigued. So if we get a dot, they will take effect now. So the bullpen is grudgingly starting to loosen a bit. I believe Rich Bordy is loosening their bullpen. This is definitely mop-up guys' game to pitch. And I believe Rich Bordy is loosening in the bullpen. Rich Bordy. And Bordy, 3-1 with a 7.64 ERA. That's the kind of guy you bring in on a game like this. But he does have a fatigue of 4. So that's an option there as well. But they're going to stick with Rhoden for now. If he hits a dot, he's got to come out. 1-5. Oh, look at this. George Taco Bell on 1-5. That is a home run, clean as can be. And that's going to be it for Rick Rhoden. But Rick Rhoden had no say in that one. That would have gone off of Bordy as well. So home run, and that kind of caps the day it was for Rick Rhoden. Home run for George Bell. 2-run shot. And for George Bell, that's home run number 18. RBIs 51 and 52 in the replay. And the Blue Jays now have a commanding 8-0 lead. And Rich Bordy will now come into the ball game. Yankee fans in the stands are not very happy right now. Neither is Lou Piniella. Drudge is out there, takes the ball from Rhoden, and says, Bordy, you're pitching the rest of the game. I don't give a crap if we give up 20 runs. I'm not using another relief pitcher. So this is Bordy, and we're done. There are not going to be any more Yankee pitchers. If Bordy gives up 20 runs, he stays in the frickin' game. I'm not using any bullpen arms. It's Bordy or bust. Bordy on the replay is on the real season, rather, 3-1, 7.64 ERA. Replay 1-0 with a 9.45 ERA. Yes, he sucks, but he's going to be in there. Here's Rance Mulliniks. He's 3 for 3. 5-6, and that's a strikeout. Start the action. Kind of get disappointed. When I see this game on the schedule and I see the pitching matchup, I'm thinking it's going to be a really neat, close game, and then you get this. Just kind of frustrating sometimes. Here's Upshaw. 3-12, and that's a ballpark blast for Upshaw, 1-9, and of course it's gone. There was no doubt about it. All these rolls are in favor of the Blue Jays in this game. It's another home run, this one from Willie Upshaw. That's only his second home run of the season. He had been struggling with the power. He finally gets his second home run of the season, RBI number 17, and it is now 9-0, Toronto. Here is Ernie Witt. And Lupinella's gone back in the clubhouse. He's not even managing the team anymore. 4-9, and that's going to be a single. So I hope you guys like Rich Bordy because you're going to see him the rest of the game. There is nobody else. Rich Bordy, and that's it. Here's Fred McGriff. 1-4, struck him out. 2 down. Here's Garth Orge. That's a 3-11 for Orge, and that's a solid double to center field. Straight up double for Garth Orge. 3-11 is a solid double. And they will be sending Ernie Witt home. The double actually says it's to right field. So Winfield is a -4 arm. Witt is a 10. He's not being held as an 11. 2 outs is a 13. -4 there is a 9. So I think they're going to hold him up there. So second and third, 2 outs, and the 9th man to bat in the inning, Tony Fernandez. I definitely could, Jeremiah. Now that you think about it, now that you mention that's a good idea. I remember him pitching against Texas, at least one game where he came in when it was a blowout. So, yep, we could use Cerrone. You're absolutely correct. And I could even use the pitching card he has on the computer rather than the generic one that the book gives you, if I went that route. All right, here's Fernandez. That's a 6-11, switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball, right field X. That's Winfield. It's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. It's just the E3, and the only error on the E3 is 3-15 and 18. And he makes the play to end the inning. So the Blue Jays get a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning and take a 9-0 lead. And we'll get the numbers on Rhoden from the Strat computer because I don't feel like adding this stuff up, to be quite honest with you. Wait a minute. Why is it saying or? There should be 3 outs here. Why is it not giving me? Why is the computer telling me there's only 2 outs? It doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense. There's been 2 strikeouts in the game. All right, let me see on the Strat computer what got messed up. Check information. Something didn't get put on the computer properly, I have to assume. So I'm going to redo the inning here. All right, we had a home run to start the inning. Then we have a single. Then another home run. And then we have a strikeout. Then a home run. Then a single. For some reason it has McGriff as a fly out. I don't know why. It should be a strikeout there. I don't know why it has a fly out. That makes no sense that they would have a fly out there for that. So let me, I'm going to go back in and undo some of this stuff. So the fly out should be a strikeout from McGriff. But there still should be 3 outs. Oh, I didn't do the Orge double. That's what it was. Okay. Orge is double, put second and third. Then Fernandez flies to right, and that's the 3rd out. Okay. Now we can get the numbers, the ugly numbers on Rick Rhoden. Rick Rhoden goes 6 innings, gives up 14, 6 plus, because he actually pitched into the 7th. 14 hits, 8 runs. They were all earned. No walks and 3 strikeouts. Bordy, still going to try to get Bordy to finish out the inning, I think, or the game. We'll see. I might throw in Cerrone in the 9th just for the heck of it. We'll see what happens. All right, so Stieb is out, and Stieb is right on the borderline of fatigue as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Here's Cerrone, 4-8, and that's a strikeout with a dot, but he is not tired yet. Per the Strat computer, Stieb has not reached fatigue yet. So the strikeout is good. Brings up Tollison. Strikeout was good for that. 3-8 for Tollison, and that is a fly to right field, 2 down. And that brings up Randolph. 3-9 for Randolph, and he flies to left. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Stieb. And we go to the 8th. Score still 9-0. 40 is back out, and he'll be facing Mosby, Barfield, and Bell. Mosby's the one that started the whole mess last inning with a home run. Six, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So the strikeout is good. Brings up Barfield. 2-6 for Barfield, and he strikes out. So Bordy has struck out 4 batters in less than 2 innings. So besides giving up all the hits, he has gotten the strikeouts. Here's George Bell. Five, 6, and that's another strikeout. He strikes out the side here in the 8th. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Steve back out. I wonder if they're going to go ahead and, they might go ahead and, well, he's pitching a shutout, so we're going to leave him out there. I was going to sub him, but we'll leave him out there. Here's Claudell Washington. 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Stieb. Strikeout number 6 for Dave Stieb. And here comes Winfield. 3-9 for Winfield, and he strikes out. Steve says, don't take me out. I'm on a roll. So here comes Gary Ward. He's going to go for the complete game shutout, I've got a feeling. I'm not going to take him out until he gives us a run, basically. 3-7 for Ward, and struck him out. So he strikes out the side. Steve getting his second wind, apparently, as he strikes out the side. And now, just for kicks and giggles, I think I will bring in Rick Cerrone to pitch with the suggestion from Jeremiah, which I thought was a good one. So Bordy is going to go 2 innings. Well, first of all, let's bring him on in the computer. So that means I need a new catcher. And that means that Salas will actually move in and catch. So the Yankees will lose the DH, but they don't need to worry about it because their pitcher is Rick Cerrone. So now I got to figure out how to do that. Let's see here. Will the Strat computer let me do it is the question, because he's already in the lineup. So I don't know if they're going to let me change his position. They may not let me do it. I'm not seeing where I can do this. Jeremiah, the Strat computer is not giving me an option to do it. I could take a guy that's not in the lineup and have him pitch, but apparently it's not going to let me let Cerrone pitch because it's not letting me take that pitcher spot and move it up for whatever reason. It'll let me bring in a guy off the bench to do it, but it won't let me bring in Cerrone, who's already in the lineup. So for whatever reason, it won't let me do it. I'll try it again, but it just is not letting me do it. It's giving me no option at all to bring him in as a pitcher. It's just not letting me drag him into the pitcher spot or anything. So apparently he would have to have been on the bench to do this. So much for that. It was a nice thought, but we're going to go ahead and have Bordy pitch. Means we'll go 3 innings. So Bordy's going to pitch the 9th. It was a nice thought, though. I'd love to have been able to do that, but Strat computer won't let me do it. I can bring a guy off the bench to do it, but I can't take a guy that's in the lineup already and put him as a pitcher. It won't let me do it. Don't know why it won't let me do it, but it won't. Or if anybody's watching this and knows a workaround, let me know. But I tried several times. It just wouldn't let me do it, so I just gave up. All right, here's Mullinix. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. Boy, Bordy's got the strikeout pitch rolling in this game. Here's Willie Upshaw. 6-4. That's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Tollison. 3E22. 3-13. Should not be a problem. 3-13 is a G2. That's an 8, and he is an E22. There is no 8 there, so it's good play for Tollison. 2 up and 2 down. I really wanted to bring Cerrone in, too. That was kind of a bummer. Typical Strat computer limiting on what you can do. I bet on the Action PC, I probably could have done it. Probably could have done it on most other computer games, just not this one. All right, here's Ernie Witt, catcher. 2-7 for Witt, and he grounds it to first to end the inning. So Bordy pitching 3 innings. He's only going to give up 1 run in those 3 innings. And let's see here. He struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts. No walks. He did give up 3 hits. So there you go. 9-0. 9 runs, 17 hits, and 4 errors for the Blue Jays in this game. Wow. And looking back here, I didn't even check this or even see this. I wasn't even aware of it. But the single by Winfield in the 6th broke up a no-hitter. Dave Stieb's pitching a 1-hitter. I didn't even realize it because I saw these base runners, but they're errors and walks. He's walked 3, and there's been 4 errors. But Dave Winfield's got the only base hit of the game. All right, Mike. Let me check what you're saying here, Mike. I mean, I can't do it now, I guess. See, you think took a picture and drag it to Cerrone. I tried to drag Cerrone to the pitcher, and I tried to take the little diamond on the computer. I clicked on the P where the pitcher was and tried to drag it up. So I don't know. Let me see if I can do that with. I still haven't put in the final out for Witt yet on the computer. So let me see if I can do that this time and see if that's the workaround. So you said take the pitcher 40. Okay. It did put Bordy up in the catcher spot, but Cerrone went away. So if I do that, I put Bordy up in the spot where the catcher was, and it went away. See if I can. I can't show the screen because I don't have that kind of technology, but I'll take a picture of it anyway. Okay. Let's see this here. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the computer. But anyway, whoops. Get back over here. Anyway, Mike, that's what I did. And you can see I have moved Bordy. Well, if I can get this off the light here. I put Bordy, get a little closer here. I put Bordy in the catcher spot formerly held by Cerrone, but Cerrone went away. So I'd have no way of dragging Cerrone to be the pitcher. Now, what I did before is I clicked on this P and tried to drag it up to where Cerrone was, and that didn't work either. So I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of workaround, but I couldn't find it. And your suggestion almost worked, but not quite. Good try, though. I certainly was looking to do anything I could with that. Just didn't work. Maybe if it's a non-DH game, maybe if it's a National League game, it would have worked. I don't know. All right, so Stieb is going for the complete game. And like I said, I did not realize he was pitching a 1-hitter. I just saw that. Computer just told me that. 1-hitter. I didn't realize the only hit of the game was Winfield's single in the 6th. And I want to say that was a ballpark single. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. I have to go back and look at it to see what that hit was. But, yeah, I saw this base runners. Never thought about a no-hitter, but there's a single in the 6th. So he is pitching a 1-hitter, so I'm definitely not going to take him out when he's pitching a 1-hitter. I'm going to let him try to finish the deal. He's facing Pagliarulo. Pasqua and Salas, and there's really nobody on the bench any better, so there's no sense in pinch hitting. You might as well leave the best you have out there. Oh, okay. If you can figure it out, Mike, and let me know at some point, that would be great. That way I can, because Cerrone did pitch a couple times in real world, so in mop-ups. So. Anyway, here is Stieb to Pagliarulo, 3-7 for Pags, and that's another strikeout for Stieb. Boy, he struck out 4 in a row. He's finishing in style. That's his 9th strikeout. And here's Pasqua. 5-10. Ballpark single check. That's a 9, but it has to be a 7. So that will fail. It'll be a fly to center, 2 down. So 1 out away from a 1-hitter. And I don't think I've had that many 1-hitters. That's for sure. I don't think I've ever had a 1-hitter. I may have never had a 1-hitter in Strat. I'm not sure. But the fact I didn't even catch that until the very end was kind of weird. I guess because all the activity on the bases never made me think about a no-hitter, but there it was. Here's Mark Salas. 3-6 for Salas. That's a fly to center, and that's going to be the ball game. Dave Stieb pitches a 1-hit gem. He is obviously the player of the game. Struck out 9 while doing it, and he only walked 2. He walked 3. He walked Pasqua twice, and he walked Randolph once. So no runs, a hit, and no errors for the Yankees. Wow, what a whitewashing that was. So Cerrone never made it, unfortunately, as the computer wouldn't allow it. How do you like that? So there you go, Dave Stieb, the man of the hour. He was 13-9 with a 4.09 in real world. He improves to 7-3 now. So we'll put this into the computer, the final out, and go to the box score and get the totals. Rick Rhoden takes the loss, unfortunately for him. He drops to 5-3. So Rhoden's now 5-3. His ERA has jumped to 4.82 after this outing. Stieb improves to 7-3 and drops his ERA to 4.03. So very unusual looking box score there, but 4 errors and only 1 hit allowed. But there you go. All right, so what's that going to do for the standings is the other thing. Let's look at the standings. Up to date now with this game in place and in the books. Toronto is pushed further ahead of the Yankees. They're now 35-19. Yankees are 35-22. So the Yankees are a game and a half back of Toronto and 2.5 back of Milwaukee in the American League East. And the next game for tomorrow, if we look at the schedule, trying to go east to west as best we can. Let's see who's left on the schedule. Well, one set of teams is off. One set of Detroit does not play this week, today. Detroit and who is it they were playing? Detroit. Who do they play here? Where are you, Detroit? There you are. Detroit and Milwaukee do not play today, so they are off. So there are 4 games remain to be played. 3 of them are on the West Coast. Seattle, California, and Oakland all host games. So the next game tomorrow will be in Minnesota. That's the closest going east to west we can get because you're going to be on the West Coast further than that. It's going to be ID Jester's favorite pitcher, Mark Gubaza for the Royals against Mike Smithson for the Minnesota Twins. That is your pitching matchup for tomorrow morning from the Metrodome, Kansas City at Minnesota. And that can be an important game in the American League West as the teams try to catch Oakland. We look at the standings in the American League West. Kansas City and Minnesota are tied for 3rd place, 4.5 games back of Oakland and a half game back of Chicago and California. So they're jockeying for positions for sure. So Minnesota and Kansas City, Mark Gubaza and Mike Smithson. That's the pitching matchup. But Dave Stieb, the man in this one, and the Blue Jays thumped the Yankees by the score of 9-0. Rich Bordy, fortunately for the Yankees, saved their bullpen, gave them 3 innings. So that means their bullpen is rested for the rest of the series. So if they get close games, hopefully for them, if they get close games, you guys got guys like Tim Stoddard, Dave Righetti, and Cecilio Guante who are rested and can pitch effectively the rest of the series. It's just fortunately for the Yankees, it's only a 1-game loss. So no matter how bad it is, a loss is a loss is a loss. So it does, it doesn't really affect anything. It's just 1 game, whether it's 20-0 or 1-0. So that's going to do it from here. I will be uploading, or I've not, what's the word? I've already uploaded. I will be showing a pre-recorded game this afternoon. It will not be Strat-O-Matic. It will not be History. It will be a different game that I haven't played in a while, and a potential new project that I want to add on. It's a very, very mini project, though, which shouldn't take long to finish. And it gets me exposed to another game that I need to be exposed to and play instead of playing the same games all the time. It gives a little variety to the channel, hopefully. But I did pre-record it first because I wasn't sure how I was going to do it or if I wanted to do it. So we'll see. I'll put it out around noon unless Uncle Ron's on. If he's on, I'll wait. But if he doesn't have a game today at noon, then I'll put it on at noon. If not, I'll do it sometime in the afternoon. But that's going to do it from here. Toronto thumps the Yankees on a 1-hitter by Dave Stieb. The only hit right here, Dave Winfield's single with 1 out in the 6th. I'm going to go back and see if that was a ballpark check or whether that was a standard hit off of Winfield's card. I'm not sure. But I'm kind of thinking it was a hit off Winfield's card, but I'd have to go back and look at it. But man, to think I had a 1-hitter and didn't even catch it, that's kind of strange. I guess because of all the errors and walks and everything. But that's good from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.